It's because, and I only just found this out redoing the work on the Everything Code recently, is that in 2021-22, they actually extended the maturity of the debt from 4 years to 5 years. So that extension of the maturity of debt has pushed out the business cycle a year. The 4-year cycle this time around is a 5-year cycle. We don't know what the next one will be until we see where they all end up getting refinanced, whether it comes back to 4 because they managed to get some stuff at the long end, or whether they shorten it because everything's in the short end. We don't know yet. But this one is a 5-year cycle. And this is what it looks like. A 5.4-year sine curve. 5.4 years is the exact average weighted maturity of the debt. And it tells us the ISM should peak by 2026. We think liquidity probably peaks before that, as the rate of change of ISM changes and the rate of change of liquidity changes. Our best guess remains well into 2026, probably Q2.
Hey everyone, let's dive into what's happening with XRP right now. And trust me, there's a lot to unpack here. So looking at our one-day chart, we're sitting at $2.78. And yeah, it was another red day for XRP. We actually dipped as low as $2.72 earlier, which has everyone asking the million-dollar question. Are we going even lower, or are we about to see that sweet rebound toward $3? Now, I'd absolutely love to see us bounce back, but here's the thing. It's honestly way too early to make that call. There's definitely a chance we could drop below $2.70 while I'm recording this video, so keep your eyes peeled. What's really going on? Here's what caught my attention. Bitcoin also dropped under $110,000, and I'm going to tell you exactly why that sudden drop happened in just a moment. But get this. If you look at the altcoin market cap, we're still sitting at 72. I'm actually surprised it didn't drop with the rest of the market. It's holding up incredibly well right now. Remember, once we break above 75, that's when alt season officially kicks in. And here's the crazy part. Alt season hasn't even started yet, but everyone's already calling the top. The frustration is real. Look, I get it. Everyone's talking about market manipulation because, let's face it, we're all frustrated. Every single time this market looks amazing and you're thinking, this is it. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Bam! Something happens that brings everything crashing back down. Whether it's OG Bitcoin holders selling off their stacks, Tether coming to the rescue to prop up Bitcoin's price, real-world events like tariff discussions, or what just happened earlier today, which I'll explain. It's absolutely frustrating as a crypto investor, but here's what I need you to remember. We are going to reach that finish line. Just stay positive. It's absolutely coming. The golden rule. Here's something every crypto investor knows.
The second you sell your XRP, the market will take off. Everybody says this because we've all watched it happen at some point. So what do you do on days like today? Simple. Do nothing. Or buy the dip. That's it. Why Bitcoin suddenly dropped. So here's what triggered that sudden price drop. US deployed jets against Russian bombers. That's the CNN headline that hit the wires. Russian military aircraft were detected in Alaska's air zone. But wait, this exact same thing happened last month too. This isn't breaking news. Just like last time, the Russian aircraft never entered sovereign airspace and wasn't seen as a threat. People are saying these headlines keep dropping strategically to tank the crypto market. Classic market manipulation tactics. The store of value question. Here's what really gets me thinking. If Bitcoin is supposedly this incredible store of value, the greatest store of value ever created, then why does it immediately drop every time there's even talk of conflict? To me, that doesn't sound like a great store of value at all. And what happens next? You guessed it. Tether prints more of their worthless tokens to prop the price back up. It's like clockwork. When will XRP break free? Eventually, XRP is going to decouple from Bitcoin. I truly believe that. But I don't see it happening until we get proper regulations in place first. The extended cycle theory. Now, here's something really interesting. Raoul Pal is saying that the traditional 4-year cycle has now become a 5-year cycle. He believes Bitcoin should peak in 2026, probably in Q2.
Why is Bitcoin sort of not wildly off to the races yet? And it's this chart. Bitcoin is basically, this is a detrended Bitcoin. And it's basically the ISM, which is the business cycle. Remember, we've always said it's the business cycle stupid. It is always the business cycle stupid. And all of these people who claim it's the 4-year cycle based around this and that, they don't understand the fundamental of what the business cycle is, why there's a 4-year cycle in everything. And we've explained it, and we'll go through it in great detail tomorrow in our Everything Code presentation. But basically, it's following the ISM. And rates have been following the same pattern. You see, rates should have come lower. They need to come lower because we need to roll the debt. We've talked about this. That's part of the Everything Code, fundamental part. And ISM, because rates are so high, has meant that Main Street has been screwed while Wall Street's made money from debasement. Earnings versus scarce assets. This is the issue that they need to solve, and they need to get rates lower. They get rates lower. Why? Why do we have an elongated business cycle that looks like virtually no other time?
So basically what he's explaining is that we won't see Bitcoin reach its absolute top until rate cuts happen first. This is what's stretching the cycle from 4 years to 5 years. The rate cuts just started, and we're expecting more throughout 2025. So if Bitcoin tops sometime in Q2 2026, that would likely extend alt season as well. In other words, XRP's top would probably come even later. My prediction. But here's what I think is going to happen. XRP is going to start its major run throughout the rest of 2025. Remember, patience is key in this market. The fundamentals are strong, the technology is solid, and the adoption is growing. Sometimes the market just needs time to catch up to reality. Why XRP has to run up from here? But here's why I'm so confident XRP can't stay at these cheap prices. We've got a perfect storm brewing, and it's all bullish. First up, regulatory clarity is right around the corner. We're literally on the verge of getting the clarity this market has been begging for. Second, multiple ETFs are about to go live. Think about it. When these ETFs launch, where's all that institutional money going to flow? Straight into XRP. We're talking massive capital inflows. Third, here's the kicker. XRP is already disappearing from exchanges. It's getting locked away in treasuries, which means supply is shrinking while demand is about to explode. There's absolutely no way XRP stays at these bargain prices throughout the rest of this year. It's going much, much higher. My bold price predictions. I'm thinking we hit double digits by the end of 2025. And if we're really going to see those 3-digit prices everyone's calling for because of the ETFs, that's probably happening in 2026. But here's the thing. This cycle has been anything but predictable. It keeps changing, keeps getting delayed, and people are getting frustrated. Some are even selling their XRP on weekends when emotions run high. They want to shake out as many people as possible. All you have to do is hold on. You're going to make money as long as you can hang tight until it happens. The LLC question. Do you need one? Now, someone asked about LLCs for holding XRP. Pundit says you don't need an LLC to hold XRP, and I totally agree. You don't need an LLC just to hold XRP. But here's where it gets interesting. It absolutely helps when you go to sell. Let me break this down with real numbers. Without an LLC, if you sell XRP at $100,000 as a short-term hold, you're looking at 30 to 40% tax liability. That's $30,000 to $40,000. Long-term hold, still around $15,000 in taxes. With an LLC, if you're using it like a crypto business, you can write things off. You can buy certain items to offset what you'll owe in capital gains. It's all about strategy. My personal LLC strategy. I've actually had an LLC for over 6 years for my day-to-day business, but I opened another one specifically for my crypto holdings. Why? Because I want to buy things through that LLC to offset any capital gains I might face when selling crypto in the future. Now, I don't think I'm going to sell my XRP. I'm probably going to take some profits on other cryptocurrencies instead. But if I can offset those taxes, absolutely, I'm going to do it. You want to save as much as you possibly can. Here's the truth. Most people don't think they need an LLC until they become a business. Then they realize, why the hell didn't I have a business structure this entire time? The bottom line? You don't need an LLC to hold XRP, but once you start making serious money, you'll wish you had one set up already. The bottom line? You don't need an LLC to hold XRP, but once you start making serious money, you'll wish you had one set up already. Look, anyone telling you not to get an LLC, you're going to be stuck with those capital gains taxes regardless.
At least this way, you can offset some of it. I hope that all made sense because I rolled through it pretty quickly. Huge ETF news breaking right now. Okay, this is big. Justin just dropped some massive news. The SEC has approved the NASDAQ Crypto Index US ETF to operate under new generic listing standards. Here's what's incredible about this. The fund is now allowed to hold crypto assets beyond just Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're talking XRP, Solana, and XLM. Things are moving lightning fast with these ETFs, and another one just got approved. Here's my take. Whoever gets these ETFs out first is going to capture the lion's share of that institutional money because they're getting first mover advantage. That's exactly why the Bitcoin ETF performed so incredibly well. First mover advantage is everything in this space. Think about it this way. If we had launched ETH and XRP ETFs first, then brought out a Bitcoin ETF later, I don't think Bitcoin would have seen those crazy numbers it did. But here's what I'm really excited about. I still think XRP ETFs are going to absolutely outshine the Bitcoin ETFs. That time is coming, and it's coming fast. The ETF boom is just getting started. And get this, there's an entire ETF boom coming our way.
Like we're looking at literally over 100 ETFs in the crypto world coming to market in the next 6 to 12 to 18 months.
Wow.
Like hundreds of them. Now, how many of them are going to stick around and be profitable and like people are actually going to be interested in? I said before, I'm very bullish the basket products, whether that's like top 20x Bitcoin or just the Bitwise 10, like because advisors, that's what they're used to investing in. I'm very bullish on that side of things. But yeah, there's a ton of these products. And even if the generic listing standards isn't ready to go in the next couple of months, you still have due dates coming up in October and November for a whole host of assets, including Litecoin, Solana, XRP. Let me go down the list even. Polkadot, Hedera, Doge. Like there's a Doge ETF coming in that 40 Act wrapper probably this week. You name it.
I would like to say that I'm excited about the Doge ETF, and I'm not as excited as some of the other ones that you just named.
Avalanche, Sui, Cardano.
Yep.
So,
did you catch that? He said 6 to 12 to 18 months. This could be the momentum that keeps this entire market cycle rolling. I'm really curious to see how much money flows into those XRP ETFs in the early days. That's going to give us a perfect indicator of where this whole thing is headed. Swift's big move, and why they still need XRP. Now here's something interesting. Swift just published a new blog post called Transforming the Experience for Retail Cross-Border Payments. They're showing a clear priority to make cross-border payments as fast and seamless as domestic ones by implementing new standards as part of their G20 roadmap for payments. But here's where it gets funny. Some people are saying that Swift is doing major upgrades and they won't need RippleNet or XRP anymore. It's like they still don't get it. Listen, SWIFT can do whatever upgrades they want. But here's the reality. You're still not going to achieve instant settlement times without XRP, XLM, and these other utility-driven cryptocurrencies. The ISO 2022 Game Changer. Smokedrops just shared this incredible breakdown of how ISO 2022 compliant cryptocurrencies are upgrading the SWIFT network. ISO 2022 gives blockchains the rich, standardized messaging that SWIFT's legacy network completely lacks. Check out how these key ISO-ready projects are filling those gaps. Ripple's XRP drives faster, regulation-ready cross-border payments by embedding richer sender and receiver data right into the transaction. XDC transforms trade finance with shipment, invoice, and contract metadata that enables instant document automation. Quant and Algorand reduce compliance bottlenecks by carrying identity and KYC data directly within the message layer. Stellar and Ripple power banking automation, allowing smart systems to interpret actions and settle transactions in real time. The sleeping giant, IOTA. Now, there's one they didn't mention in that breakdown, IOTA. And trust me, IOTA is going to play a massive role in this transformation. IOTA is going to absolutely explode because of machine-to-machine payments in Industry 4.0. Once that ecosystem starts rising, IOTA is going to be a complete monster. It's also going to handle a ton of transactions through ISO-compliant messaging. The complete script now flows seamlessly from market analysis to bullish case to tax strategy to ETF news to Swift developments to ISO 2022 breakdown to IOTA predictions, maintaining viewer engagement throughout while delivering valuable information in an entertaining, conversational style. The truth about ISO compliance. Now, let me clear something up about these cryptocurrencies in ISO compliance. Technically, the cryptocurrencies themselves aren't compliant. What's actually compliant are the networks they run on. The fact that they can be utilized inside ISO messages basically makes them ISO compliant for practical purposes. Some people would definitely argue with me on that point, but here's what matters. These are the cryptocurrencies of the future. That's exactly why I've always told you, buy as many as you can before time runs out. BRICS, the game changer. Everyone's missing. Here's where things get really interesting. BRICS has already explored Ripple Rails as an alternative system to SWIFT after all those sanctions hit. Get this. BRICS documents openly state that a new digital currency could reshape financial systems, reset the global banking market, and change the value of capital markets worldwide. Sound familiar? That's the exact narrative Ripple has been pushing for years. The SWIFT exodus begins. BRICS countries are going to be the first to push away from SWIFT. They're already actively looking for alternatives because of those sanctions. They feel like they want a level playing field. They don't want to play on SWIFT's playground anymore. They want their own playground. And guess what gives them that option?
RippleNet and XRP. That's why we're going to watch Ripple capture a huge chunk of SWIFT's business early on. I'm thinking 8% right out of the gate, maybe even 15%. The network effect explosion. But here's where it gets crazy. Once that happens, it's going to trigger a massive network effect. Picture this. BRICS stops using SWIFT. So now everyone else thinks, well, we need to use what BRICS is using to compete with BRICS nations. Suddenly, Europe's using RippleNet instead of SWIFT. Then all of Asia follows suit. The United States jumps in too. Everyone's going to compete because everybody wants to be the crypto capital of the world. They want to be first in innovation, first with AI, first with everything. So when someone gets that first mover advantage with RippleNet and XRP, everybody else is going to be playing catch-up. The reality check. But like I said at the beginning of this video, right now the market looks absolutely horrible. It's another bloodbath out there. Are we going to go lower? Honestly, nobody really knows. Anyone who tells you they know exactly what's happening next, they're just guessing. Let's see where this goes from here. The light at the end of the tunnel. But here's what I do know. Alt season is coming, and euphoric times are ahead. We've got regulatory clarity incoming, ETFs launching, BRICS exploring alternatives to SWIFT, and ISO 2022 compliance rolling out globally. The pieces are all falling into place. Stay strong, keep holding, and remember, we're closer to the finish line than we've ever been before. What's your take? Are you seeing the bigger picture here with BRICS and the SWIFT alternative? Or do you think I'm being too optimistic? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if this opened your eyes to something new, and make sure you're subscribed because this story is just getting started.